Hello everybody, welcome back to our CMA classes. This is Soumya Santosh, a CMA finalist, and today we are going to start a new chapter of CA final and CMA final direct taxation. Okay, and the topic is going to be advanced tax, recovery, interest and refund. So let's start. Section, first of all, what is advance tax? When an SSC is liable to pay the advance tax, if the tax payable amount is more than 10,000, in that case SSC is bound to pay advance tax. If it is less, if it is less than 10,000, that case an SSC is not bound to pay advance tax there. Okay, so let's start by the introduction of advance tax under section 209. Advance tax shall be payable in respect of current income of the SSC, which would be chargeable to the tax in assessment year where the amount of tax payable is 10,000 or more. Okay, so what about the senior citizen? Do they have to pay the advance tax as well? If the senior citizen is having any income from business and profession, that case the senior citizen have to pay advance tax. Otherwise, if they are not having any income from business and profession, in that case they will not pay advance tax. So let's go for it, saying that senior citizen, no advance shall be payable by whom? By the senior citizen, if the senior citizen do not have any income as profession and gain of business or profession during the previous year. So this is very much clear. When we have to pay the advance tax, once the tax payable amount is 10,000 or more than 10,000, that case the SSC have to pay the advance tax. Okay. Section 210 says about the computation and payment of advance tax on which is on estimation of income by SSC, right, or on order of AO. Definitely. Okay, if an SSC do not pay on the specified date any installment of advance tax, he is required to pay by order of assessing officer and does not send an intimation to AO. Second, advance paid by him on basis of his estimation of his current income. In that case, what is he going to be? SSC would deem to be in default. Okay, under section 210. Okay, now let's go for the installment of advance tax. This is advance tax and due dates. Okay, so there are two rates, okay, and two due dates. Okay, so first of all, for the corporates and non-corporates, which means the person, let's go for it, which means advance tax payable schedule for corporates and non-corporate, which means other than the SSC computing profit on presumptive basis under section 44 AD, okay, or section 44 ADA. For that person who is not covered under section 44 AD, let me write here, okay, 44 AD and 44 ADA, we are taking those people who are not covered under in this section. So for corporate and non-corporate people, it's going to be 4 installment, okay, and the installment is like this. Installment for case A says that for other than, which is for other than, okay, other than 44 AD and 44 ADA. Due dates is going to be, first of all, 4 due dates. Okay, we are going to pay on quarter basis. First, April, May, June. Okay, April to June. Then again July, August, September. July to September. October, November, December, which means October to December, and January to February. Okay, these are the 4 quarters. So once if the due dates of installment is going to be like on or before the 15th June, right, on or before on the 15th June, okay, an amount would be not less than 15% of such amount. Okay, once again there are 4 dates. First was of 15 June and the rate is going to be 15%, which means not less than 15% of the such advance tax. Okay, second installment is on 15 September, which is for July, August and September, and the amount payable is not going to be less than 45% of such advance tax, and from that amount if any advance tax is already paid, in that case that would be deductible. Let me read it again. On or before the 15th September, the due date would be that, and advance tax is to be paid before 15 September. The second installment, okay, is to be paid on or before 15 September. Okay, So the amount should not be less than 45% of such advance tax, and it is to be reduced by the amount, if any, amount paid in the earlier installment, which means, let me give an example. For example, we have already paid the first installment, right? First installment was on 15th June, right? And we have paid it on 10th of June. Let's take example that we have already paid it on 10th of June. Okay, the amount was 10,000. If it was 10,000, more than 10,000, definitely we have to pay tax, right? Advance tax, right? And on the 15th of September, the amount was total 25,000. Okay, so what we have to do, 45% was 25,000, okay, of that amount, total income. Okay, so total tax. Okay, so 25,000, from this 25,000 we have to deduct the 10,000 which was earlier paid. Okay, which means the amount is going to be 15,000 here. Okay, not 25,000. If any advance tax is paid in earlier, okay, in that case we have to deduct, we have to reduce that advance tax. Okay, so let's go for the third installment. Third installment is going to be on or before 15 December. Okay, and the percentage is going to be not less than 75% of such advance tax, and it is to be reduced by amount if already paid any advance tax earlier. Hope so this was also cleared. Okay, and the last installment is going to be on 15th March, and the amount is going to be 100% of such amount, such advance tax, and which is to be reduced by amount if any amount paid in the earlier installment, which means there are 4 installments: 15 June, 15th September, 15th December and 15th of March, right? So for the 15th, first installment is going to be 15%, second installment is going to be 45%, third is going to be 75%, and fourth is going to be 100%. Okay, we are not going to take the first part, which means 15. For others, we have to deduct the advance tax if it is paid earlier. Hope so this point was super clear, right? Let's go for the other section. So this was for what? Which people other than SSC computing profit on presumptive basis, right? Which means other than section 44 AD and 44 ADA. Those people are not covered under this section. Let's go for this presumptive basis people who are covered under this section. Okay, so those were covered under section 44 AD subsection 1 and section 44 ADA subsection 1. The advance tax shall be required to be paid advance amount on or before 15th March of the financial year. Hope so this was clear. So these were the due dates. Okay, now let's go for the section 234, which is the important section, 234A, 234B and 234C. Okay, now when is this section going to impose on an SCC? Interest in case if any SSC have default in furnishing the return of income. If the SSC have not filed the return, right, or have delayed in filing the return, in that case this section 234 is going to be 234A is going to be imposed. Okay, so what rate? Interest at the rate of 1% per month or part of, from the date immediately following the due date up to the date of furnishing of return. Okay, in case where return is furnished after due date. First of all, what I told you, interest is going to be 1%, and time period from when we are going to take this, from the date immediately the due date up to the date of furnishing of return is furnished. Okay, so what about if the return is not furnished? In that case, date of completion. Okay, we are going to take the date of completion. Okay, so hope so this was clear. Now let me tell you how we are going to compute the income. Okay, so amount on which interest is calculated, first of all we are going to take the total income determined under section 143 subsection 1 on under regular assessment. From this we have to deduct the advance tax if we have already paid, right, TDS amount, TCS amount. Again we have to deduct the double taxation relief. Remember section 90, section 90A, section 91. Okay, so we have to deduct first of all advance tax paid, okay, any TDS amount, any TCS amount. Okay, then we have to deduct the relief under section what, 90, 90A and 91. Okay, then we are going to deduct the any relief which is relief of tax allowed under section 89. So relief under section 89 is also deducted from this. Okay, and last, any MAT credit allowed. If any MAT credit was earlier allowed to be set off in accordance with 115 JA A or 115 JD, okay, in that case we are going to take them. Okay, hope so this point was again clear. So on total income determined under section 143(1), which is on the regular assessment, which is done under the regular assessment, we are going to take that amount, okay, that total income. From that we have to deduct the advance tax which is earlier paid, okay, TDS TCS amount, then what, the section 91 relief, 90 relief, 90A relief, 91 relief, okay, and one more relief, 89 relief, okay, and if any MAT credit is allowed, okay, in that case also we are going to deduct these. Okay, hope so this point was clear. So this was for the interest on regular assessment. Let's go for the interest on reassessment. Okay, where the return of income of any assessment year required by notice under section 153A, in that case issued after completion of assessment is furnished after the expiry of time under such notice is not furnished. Okay, in that case again the rate is going to be the same rate at 1% per month or part of. Okay, so from which date we are going to take the calculation of interest? From the date immediately following the expiry of time lot, which is notice issued under section 153A up to the date of furnishing, which is where the return is furnished after the expiry of time. And when the return is not furnished, in that case date of completion of assessment is going to be taken under section 147 or 153A. Okay, hope so this point was clear. Now how to calculate this? Total income determined on assessment under section 147 or 153A. From this we have to deduct total income determined under section 143(1) subsection 1 or earlier assessment which is done under 143, 44 or 47. Okay, so hope so section 234A is cleared. When it's going to imposed? When the SSC have not filed the return, or he have filed the return but not on the due date, after due date. Hope so this point was clear to you. Now let's go for section 234B. When it's going to impose, first of all, if the interest for default in payment of advance tax, interest on regular assessment, again if the SSC fails to be advance tax as required under the act, or advance tax payable by him is 90% of the, is actually less. Okay, if it is less than 90% of the tax, in that case he would be liable to pay interest under section 234B. Okay, if the SSC have not paid 90% of tax, in that case interest under section 234B is going to be imposed. Okay, he shall be liable to pay interest at rate of 1%. Okay, the time period in earlier case was from when the due date was filed, means the return, the advance tax was actually paid after due date, right? So from, we are going to compute, you know, the period are not the same in this section. Okay, in this interest section 234B, the period would be from 1st of April. Okay, so let's go for it. The relevant assessment to the date of completion of assessment. So here the period is going to be per month or part of the month from 1st of April, okay, to the relevant assessment to the date of completion of assessment under section 143 subsection 1. So the time period is different in this case. All regular assessment, or now here how we are going to compute assessed tax which is to be reduced from TDS TCS, and which is to be again reduced, the advance tax is to be reduced, okay, if any, where in assessed tax is equal to tax on total income determined under regular assessment. In that case TDS TCS definitely going to be reduced, right? Double taxation relief 90, 98, 91, okay, and any relief under section 89 and MAT credit, same thing is going to be imposed here. Okay, in case of reassessment under section 234B subsection 3, okay, the rate is going to be 1% definitely. Period for which interest is payable, period starting from 1st April of relevant assessment year, ending the date on which reassessment or repetition under section 147 or 153A of completed. Okay, or amount on which interest is calculated is going to be under section 147, 150A, the amount total income which is to be less, which amount is going to be less? Tax on total income determined under section 143 subsection 1 or early assessment 143, 147. Okay, hope so this was also similar point for you. Okay, now comes the other one of the main section. Okay, section 234C, which is if an SSC fails to pay any installment. As I told you, there are 4 installment, right, for which are not covered under 44 AD and ADA, right? So if the SSC have failed to pay the installment, okay, in that of advance tax, in that case 234C is going to be imposed. Okay, let's read now. If any SSC fails to pay the installment of advance tax or makes late payment of any installment of advance tax, then he shall be liable to pay the interest under section 234C. Okay, and that is going to be like this. Advance tax paid is if the advance tax paid less than 12% of due date on the returned income. Okay, but let me clarify one thing. The advance tax paid on or before 15 June, this is the same thing, right? Earlier it was 15%, right? Here it is 12%. Under section, let me say it again, under section 234C, there are again 4 installment other than, for whom? Other than those who are covered under section 44 AD and ADA. Okay, these are for those people who are not covered under 44 AD and 44 ADA. Okay, hope so this point was clear. Okay, so earlier it was 15%, right? 45%, 75%, 100%. So in this case, instead of 15%, we are going to take 12%. Okay, we are going to take the 12%. The advance tax paid on or before 15 June is less than 12% of tax or due on return income. 1% per month rate is going to be, and for 3 months, remember 3 months were there, right? April, May, June, April, May, June. Okay, so 15% of tax due on return less advance tax paid up to 15 June is the amount on which interest is payable. Don't get confused, I'm reading now, but we have one illustration with us, so we'll understand it better, so don't get confusion here. So remember what I said earlier, 15%, now we are going to take 12%. In second case it was 45%, in this case we are going to take the 36%. Okay, so advance tax paid on or before was 15 September is less than 36% of due date, in that case 1% per month. Okay, and for 3 months again, and 45%, which is same 15%, 45%, 75% and 100%, right? Apart from this first part 15% wala, we are going to take for these 3, we have to reduce advance tax if it is paid in earlier. Okay, so that is the same process for this section. Okay, so 45% of tax due on return income less advance tax if paid up to 15 September. Hope so this was also clear. Advance tax paid on or before 15th of December, it's less than 75% of tax due on return income. 1% per month is going to be the rate for 3 months, and 75% of tax is to be reduced if any tax is already paid, if any advance tax is already paid. Okay, last advance tax paid is on or before 15th March is less than 100% of the tax due on return income, that case 1%. For this case there is only 1 month. Okay, there is only, we are going to take the 1 month here, not the 3 month. Okay, for the last installment we are going to take the 1 month. Okay, and 100% of the tax due on the return income is to be reduced by what amount? The advance tax paid up to 15 March. Okay, so there was 2 relief, which was instead of 15 we are going to use 12. Okay, 12%, instead of 45% we are going to use the 36%. Okay, rest is same. Okay, so what about the other those SSC who fall under presumptive basis under section 44 AD and under section 44 ADA? For those, okay, advance tax paid on before 15th of March is less than 100% of tax due on return income. The rate is going to be 1% for 1 month, and the due date is going to be on 15th. As I told you, 15th March. For them it's going to be 15, only one due date. Okay, there is no installment for them, they have to pay one. ठीक है, and the rate is going to be 1% and what the amount the month is also going to be 1, ठीक है. So 100% of tax due on the return income is to be reduced by what amount? The advance tax paid up to 15th March. So let's complete the other section very quickly. Section 234D says about the interest on the excess return. Interest payable with any refund is granted to SSC and no refund is due on regular assessment or amount refunded exceed the amount refundable on the regular assessment. That case rate is going to be 0.5 per month or part, ठीक है. Refund would be granted from the date of grant of refund to the date of regular assessment. Okay, as we are familiar with this section, let's go for section 234F, which says that if there is any fees, okay, for default furnishing return of income. Okay, if the return is furnished before 31st day of the December of assessment in year, ठीक है. If the return is not filed on the due date, simply they are saying if the return is not filed on the due date, but the return is paid after due date, in that case fees is going to be imposed on SSC. And how much fees? 5,000 rupees is going to be imposed, ठीक है. Okay, but what if the total amount total income of an SSC do not exceed 5 lakh? Okay, in that case 1000 rupees, 1000 fees is going to be imposed by the SSC. Hope so this point was clear. Let's go for 234G. Section says fees for default related to statement or certificate where the research association, university, college or any other institutional referred under section 35(1) subsection 2 or 3 on the company referred to section 35(1) and these 11A, which means 2A, okay, fails to furnish or deliver or furnish certificate. In that case the fees is going to be 200 for each day during which failure continues. Okay, so they are simply saying if the certificate is not furnished by the university, right, the college or any research association under specified section, they have to give they have to give the fees which is of 200 until for each day during which the failure actually continues. Hope so this point was clear. Okay, let's go for interest on refund. Okay, under section 244 subsection A, whether refund arising out of excess payment of advance tax, TDS, TCS during the financial year immediately preceding the assessment year, rate is going to be 0.5 or part thereof. Interest payable if the return of income has been furnished on or before the due date under specified section 139 subsection 1 beginning from the assessment year and ending on the date on which grant is refund. Okay, in this case 0.5 is going to be rate. Okay, if the refund of income has not furnished on before the due date specified under section 139 subsection 1, in that case what is going to be happen from the date of furnishing a return on income to the date on which the refund is granted. Is simple, these are the very simple thing. Okay, mainly we have two more section. Okay, we are going to be very quick in this case. Where the return arising out of tax under section 140A, section 244A, subsection 1 and clause AA. Okay, the rate of interest going to be 0.5% per month or part thereof. Interest is going to be payable from the date of furnishing or return of income or payment of tax, whichever is greater, to the date on which refund is granted. Okay, and for the other thing also it's going to be 0.5%, which means for the other case apart from them, section 244A subsection 1 clause B, whether the refund arise in any other cases, the rate of interest would be 0.5% per month. So majority for another cases was rate were of 0.5%. Okay, for these we have to focus on 234A, right. There was again 1%, remember the interest rate was 1%. Okay, then 234B, okay, which if the advance tax, the tax payable is 90% is less than 90%, that case that this section is going to be imposed. 234B, so 234C in that case 4 installment 12, 36, 75, 100, right, which is to be reduced. Okay, hope so this point was clear to you. Okay, let me go for one case law which says you have to tell me, okay, interest under section 234B payable is actually payable or not. Okay, if it is not mentioned in the assessment year, if it is not actually mentioned in the assessment order, ठीक है. So whether the SSC have to pay interest under section 234B, yes, it is compulsory whether it is mentioned in the assessment order or not. So it's not default. You cannot say that this is the default of assessing officer. Okay, you have to mention this in the assessment order. Okay, you have to deposit the interest to the government. ठीक है, you are compelled to do so. So there one case law which is of CIT versus Assam Mineral Development Corporation. Let me say it again, which is CIT versus Assam Mineral Development Corporation, where what happened, the SSC told that the assessing officer have not mentioned the interest of section 234B in the assessment order. So we are not bound to pay that interest. Okay, here the SSC was wrong. Okay, the assessing officer order was actually tenable. Okay, so what is going to happen, the SSC have to pay the interest under section 234B. He is compelled to pay that interest to the government. Okay, so let's go for one question very quickly. Okay, let's understand what is section 234A saying, 234B saying, and 234C saying. So we are going to compute the interest under section these. Okay, so let's be very quick now. Okay, XY Consulting Limited total income during the previous year 31st March 2024 is 10,50,000. Okay, so what is this? This is going to be our total income, 10,50,000. Hope so this point was clear. Okay, TDS tax deduction at source by different amount is going to be 24,450. Hope so this is also clear. Tax paid in the foreign country, right? Relief under section, remember, let's take it 90. Okay, this is again 10,000, not 90. And for which company entitled relief under section 90? Yes, this is a relief under section 90 as per double taxation avoidance agreement, and this is going to be the amount advance tax paid. Okay, 15th of June, which is to be paid 15th of June or before, right? So the person, the SSC, the XY Consultant Limited have paid it before the due date, right? Second was of 15th of September. Yes, he have paid on 12th of September, remember. Okay, third was of 15th of December, remember, हाँ ठीक है, and this was of 15th of March. Okay, so he have actually paid on or before the due dates. ठीक है, so let's go for how much advance tax payable. 40, let's please take out your calculator. 40,000, 66,000, 99,000 and 62,000, which is 2,67,000. Okay, this is 2,67,000, and now we have to check out when this in the SSC, which means the company, have actually paid the advance tax. ठीक है, paid the actually return. ठीक है, the company filed its return. This is return, sorry, return of income for the assessment year on 24-25 on 15th of November 2025. Let's assume that we have crossed 15th of November 2025. Okay, so we have to compute interest if payable under section 234A, computable interest under section 234A, B and C. So what was about 234A? Let's go for it. If the return of income has furnished by XY Consulting Limited, okay, do you know what is going to be the due date of this company? It's going to be the 31st October. Okay, 31st October, and here XY Limited have paid the return, have filed the return on which date? On the 15th of what? November. So they have not filed the return on due date, right? They have filed after the due date, remember. So 234A is going to be imposed on SSC. Okay, let's go for it. So which is 15 days later the due date for the filing of income, which is 31st of October. Interest under section 234A will be payable for 1 month at the rate of 1%, remember, on the amount of tax payable on the total income as due by the tax. Okay, now we have the total income here, right? What is going to be the rate? 30% definitely. Okay, so 3,15,000. Okay, and 4% HSCC is going to be imposed, right? So what is going to be the amount? 327,600. Up to this everything is clear, right? From this what we have to deduct? We have to reduce the TDS amount, TCS amount, remember, relief under section 90, relief under section 89 and MAT credit if if so given in the question. And one more thing, advance tax. So let's reduce these things from this amount. Okay, so 24450 less relief under section 90 and 2,67,000 is of advance tax. So we get 26,150. This is going to be the tax payable on self assessment. Okay, so how we are going to compute section 234A wala interest? One, the return was filed after 15 days. Okay, so we are going to take 1 month. Remember, interest rate is going to be 1%. So for 1 month and 1% rate, it's going to be 262. 261.5, let's round out, it's going to be 262. Okay, so under section 234A, okay, the interest is going to be 262. Hope so this point was clear. Let's go for the B part. Okay, what I have said you that 234B is going to be imposed if 90% of the tax is not paid by SSC. Remember? Okay, let's compute it. Okay, on again 10,50,000 plus HSCC, the rate tax is going to be 327,600. 327,600. What we have to reduce from this? We are going to reduce for 234B. For section 234B, we are not going to take this part. We are going to take the TDS amount 24450 and relief. Okay, so we get 293,150. We get 293,150. And what was the advance rate? Advance tax paid by the SSC, which is 267,000. Actually it is 267,000. Let me go back. Okay, the assessed income was 2,93,150. Remember how to compute this? From total income we have to take the taxable amount. Okay, from that we have to reduce the TDS. In the given question it is given the TDS, okay, and relief we have deducted. So we'll get the assessed income. This assessed income we are going to compute, we are going to calculate 90% on this assessed income. Okay, so on 2,93,150, 90% is going to be 263,835. So tell me the advance tax paid by him is less than this or not, as the amount is going to be 260. Hope so it's not visible. कोई बात नहीं, 263,835. ठीक है, and actually the SSC have paid more than that, 267,000. okay, so which means this section 234B is not going to be applied here. ठीक है, yes, the advance tax paid by the SSC is more than that amount. Okay, so let's read out 90% of SS income, which is this SS income का 90%, which is 263,837. Since the advance tax paid by XY Consulting Limited is 267,000, which is definitely more than 263,835. Okay, so now XY Consulting Limited shall not liable to pay the interest under section 234B. Hope so this part was clear. 234A, right? 234B. Okay, let's go for 234C. Again the same thing, tax on total income including HSCC is equal to 327,600. Same. Okay, same thing again, TDS 24450 is, and then relief, so we'll get 293,150. remember, same thing, right? So for this what we have to check, the installment of advance tax is paid on due date. Okay, which percent? 12%, 36%, 75%, 100%, and then for the remaining 3 we have to reduce the advance tax if already paid in that case. Okay, so let's go for it guys. So advance tax was of this amount payable. Okay, let me say it again, 293,150, 293,150. This is clear. Okay, so the due date is 15th July, 15th September, 15th December, 15th March. Okay, advance tax paid, let me say it again, advance tax paid was 40,000. For the very first installment he paid, the SSC paid the 40,000. Next it was 66,000. So we are going to take the aggregate amount. We are going to take the aggregate amount. Here 1,06,000 is going to be the amount paid, advance tax paid by this SSC. ठीक है, 1,06,000, which is the aggregate of the first advance tax and second. For third installment it's going to be 99,000, which is 2,05,000. okay, and for the last installment it's going to be the 2,67,000. hope so this point is also clear, right? Okay, So, this is the aggregate amount. Let's go for the 12%, 36%, 75%, 100%. Now, let's take the amount payable. Total advance tax payable 293,150 ka 12% is going to be 35,178, which is actually more or less. The SSC have to pay at least this amount, okay, and the SSC have paid 40,000, which means there would be no this section applicable for this first installment. Okay, so hope so this part was clear to you. For second part, let's go again. 293,150 ka kitna percent? 36%, which is 1,55,334. Okay, do the SSC have paid more than that? Yes, 1,06,000 for again second installment. No section 234C is going to be imposed. Okay, let's check the third part. 293,150 ka 75%, it's going to be 219,863. Now you have to tell me this section is going to be applied or not. Yes, as the SSC have paid 2,05,000, which is actually less than 219,863. Okay, what was the percentage? 75%, right? We have taken the 75% of the total advance tax payable, that is 219,863. Okay, and the actual amount paid is 2,05,000. So we are going to take the difference amount, which means a shortfall amount, that is 14,863. On this amount we have to pay the interest under section 234C. And what was the rate? Rate was again 1% for how much month? For 3 months. So it's going to be 445.89. let's round down, it's going to be 446. Okay, hope so this point was clear. Let's go for the last part. 293,150 ka 100% is going to be definitely that. Okay, we have is the SSC have actually paid this amount. Actually they have paid 267,000, which is actually less than the amount, the 100% of the amount. Okay, so we are going to take the difference, which is a shortfall, which is 26,150. Now again, what is going to the rate? What is for how much month we are going to take? For this 1% definitely, but only 1 month. Okay, 1% is going to be 262. It's going to be 262. Hope so this point was clear. Okay, so for total 262 plus 446 is going to be 708. Total interest under section 234C is going to be 708. Hope so you get my point. So through this we get to know about section 234. Through this illustration we get to know about section 234A, B and C, how we have to compute. Okay, this was a very simple question. Hope so you get my point. So that's it guys, this was the end of this chapter. Okay, we'll start with new one and do the revision. Okay, hit a like button if you like this video, subscribe my channel, share this video to those who are doing the CA aspirant, CMA aspirant. Okay, till then we'll meet again. This is Santosh. Good night. Toodles guys.